everyone, so today I've got the brand new eyeshadow palette from Tom Ford. This is the Metallic Mauve. So I'll be swatching this live for you and trying it on. But before I do that, I will be trying a brand new foundation from one of my favourite ranges. This is the It Cosmetics CC Cream range, and this is a new natural matte. And I've picked up one of the Victoria Beckham Posh Balms to try on, and she suggests doing this with one of her glosses. So I'll be doing a double Victoria Beckham lip for you today. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah. I'm 47, not a professional, just somebody who loves makeup and beauty. And here on my channel, I like to review products, show you some of my favourite looks, and give you any beauty news I think you'd be interested in. If you think you'd enjoy that, please do like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so very much for returning. I really do appreciate you all. And if you comment below, I would love to get to know you or chat with you if I already know you about everything in this video and anything else you'd like to chat about. And my skin tone, if that's helpful to you, I've got fair to light skin with neutral, slightly cool undertones, and combination skin, which is mostly dry, but I am getting an oily T-zone. Anyway, let's move on with this video. So before I do anything else, the first thing I'm going to do now is foundation. So at the moment I've got moisturiser and all of my skincare on. This is a matte base, so I'm sticking with just moisturiser, not going to use any other primers. And we'll try this one on. So It Cosmetics, basically I've got two of them here. These are two of my favourites. I've got the CC Cream, this one here, and I've got the Nude Glow. Now this one in particular, the CC Cream, has become one of the only foundations I've repurchased. I love it that much. It's got 50 SPF in, which I think is really good in summer. I like to use it on top of my other SPF, so I'm doubling up, and if I need to top up, I really like that. This foundation is one of the best foundations in my entire collection if I'm having a bad skin day. So I use tretinoin, and sometimes with weather changes, hormonal changes, and obviously tretinoin skin changes, I have problems with foundations I can normally rely on. This is the one foundation I always can. So when I saw they had a new one out, I was really curious to try it. Will I like it as much as this? Will the coverage be as good? Because it is promising at full coverage, the new one. Now the Nude Glow offers a bit less coverage. I still love it, but I still prefer this one. But I'm going to put both of these on the back of my hand so you can see what sort of coverage you get from these, and then we'll see what the new one looks like on my face. So here is the CC Cream. You can see it's a very thick formula. I'm rubbing this into my hand, and you can see it's giving me a lot of coverage. It's extremely full coverage, it really is, but it's also, look how it's just gone straight into my skin. It just blends out beautifully. It's a lovely, lovely formula. So this one is Nude Glow. This one is slightly more emollient. It's moving a little bit more, and I'm going to rub this one in. Immediately with this, you feel the difference with it not being as thick. I'm useless at rubbing this in because I'm using my left hand. So this one doesn't rub in quite as quickly, or yeah, it rubs in fairly easy actually. I'm not going to say it's worse, but look at the glow you get from this. You're getting a lot less coverage if you compare the two at the backs of my hand. So this is Nude Glow and this one's CC. So I feel you get about half the coverage with that, but you are getting that glow, which you don't get as much of with this, but it still looks natural. And this one's already starting to dry down, whereas this one is not drying down as much. So there's quite key differences there, but this one, oh, I love this one. And both of those are in the shade Fair, by the way, which is more of my winter shade. I do actually go up one shade sometimes in the summer with these. So now onto the new CC Natural Matte. There was actually a matte that came out, but it wasn't called Natural Matte. I only tried it once. It was good, but I bought the wrong shade, so there's no point me showing you that one. But I didn't like it enough to be that interested in getting the right colour. So it'd be interesting to see, with this being called Natural Matte, whether I might prefer this one. So you get 30 shades in this for £33 and 32 millilitres. This promises a natural looking matte complexion. It says it has a base acer which is packed with brightening colour correcting pigments that bestow customizable coverage with a matte but definitely not flat finish. Hopefully that's true, because that's exactly what I'd like. And the best part, it says it's enriched with an impressive blend of skin nourishing ingredients like hyaluronic acid and lentil seed extract. Plus the spectrum of shades means it couldn't be easier to make your match. So let's see if this one is as good as my favourite. So I've picked this up in the shade Light Neutral, which is a bit deeper than the ones I've showed you on my hand. So you can see straight away that this is quite thick, like my favourite. So it might be a similar consistency. I'm going to use my Rapha BO4, which has become my new go-to foundation brush. The 101 has not gone into retirement, BK Beauty. I think at the moment I'd say they're pretty equal. So anyway, I'm warming it up into the back of my hand, and now I'm going to start taking it here. I've got quite a lot of redness today. I think I need to brush this. Oh, that is looking perfect match actually, colour-wise. That is looking really good. That is a very good start. I've hardly done anything and it's already looking done by there. Look at that. Right, so let's go across the... Ooh, look at that. Look at the coverage. And it sits so nicely. It's like one swipe and you're done. Wow. This is impressing me. It doesn't seem to have that sort of lemony scent, citrus scent that they always have, which I actually love. It doesn't really have much of a scent at all. So for me personally, I think that's a shame, but you might prefer that without the scent. Oh, that is looking absolutely stunning actually. Look how good that coverage is, and it does look natural, but look at the difference between my nose there and my nose there. Wow. So I'll just do this side. So in a matter of seconds, half my face is done. So here is the side of my face I haven't done, and here is the side of my face I have done. I think that's quite incredible, you know. It applied so easily and it's just sat on my skin beautifully, so comfortable, doesn't feel remotely heavy. The coverage is phenomenal. I love that. Right, let's do the other side. I think this would apply really nicely with a sponge as well. This is the sort of formula that would definitely work well with a sponge. So if you don't want to use a brush, but at the same time, can you see how quick this is applying with this Rapha brush? So if you prefer sponges, this would probably work brilliantly with a sponge, but it's working really well. I mean, that is just so quick. It's got to be one of the easiest to apply I've tried in a long time. Maybe even easier than the #1 CC cream that I love so much. Maybe this one is going to become my new favourite from IT Cosmetics. Whether it's one I can use, look at the redness I've got there now, see what happens with that. Whether it's one I can use when I'm having a bad skin day, I'll have to test out over time. So maybe even end of year, I'll be giving an update on that one. Look at that. Look at that. That is quite exceptional. Now I'm looking at my colour, I think it's too yellow. That's something I'm definitely picking up. I liked the colour when I first applied it, but I think it's too yellow, so I should have gone down a shade. So this one is light neutral, so I have gone up a bit too high for me really, and it is looking a bit yellow. And looking at the page, for the fair range, they've got fair beige, fair ivory, fair light, fair porcelain, and fair warm. So I might try fair porcelain. I'll definitely be getting another shade in this, because that is stunning. I'm not too worried about the colour, I will make it work, but even with my tan on, it is definitely looking yellow, isn't it? Anyway, let's ignore the colour because the finish is fabulous. And I know that the shade, well, it's just called fair in this one, but I know that the fair shade in this works well for me. So I think I'll try fair porcelain, and I will update you when I've got that, and I'll probably be buying that today because that's how impressed I am with this finish. So that's my face now, fully powdered down and with bronzer and blush added on top. I've used only powders and I absolutely love it. Like I said, the colour is not quite right, but it looks better now I've added bronzer, and I've also added my concealer, which has lightened it a bit. But literally in the time I was doing that, I was tapping on my phone ordering that one in fair porcelain, because this is a beautiful, beautiful, such an easy to apply formula. It's not feeling sticky, it's feeling comfortable. It gave me exceptional coverage. It went on in seconds. I cannot say how much I love this. I can't, because that is phenomenal. How it wears will be a different matter. I won't be doing a check-in tonight because I do need to edit this morning, but what I will do is I will pin a comment to the top of the post this evening and to the top of my video in the comments section, letting you know how this wore, and I will definitely be reviewing this in my end of month review update video. And telling you if I'm still loving this one, and hopefully showing you that one in Fair Porcelain, if it's my favourite, because I usually try on my favourites. Anyway, let's move on to the Tom Ford. So I've picked this one up. If you saw me saying, should I buy it or not, I said no, I'm not buying any of the Tom Ford. They don't interest me. They cost too much money. They've never really interested me, the colour stories from Tom Ford. They're very expensive. Didn't want to go there. And then I saw the swatches of this, and these two shades here, they just looked so shiny and beautiful when they were swatched. I thought maybe this is the one I should try, just one, and see how I get on. So this is a bit of a test for me. Should I go down the Tom Ford route, maybe trying them, if I think I like the colour stories? So I can't say purples are my favourite. I like them, I don't love them, but I do like the look of these. But what I can tell you is I tried to do a swatch video for you in Natural Daylight, which I would have uploaded yesterday to my shorts, and I would now be showing you. But I didn't like the way this swatched at all. You can't see this very well, and this was a bit muddy in the way it swatched. So that's slightly worrying me now. But swatches can be deceptive, so let's see how this one looks. So this cost a whopping £74. It says that it's formulated with advanced colour processes, 4 luxurious finishes of a sheer sparkle, a satin, a shimmer and a matte. This has a spectrum of intensity and effects and delivers incredible shade fidelity, apparently. Obviously the packaging with Tom Ford is always top notch, very luxurious. That's something you really do get with Tom Ford. Always get this big palette with a big nice mirror. I say that because I've got quite a few in powders. I don't have them in eyeshadows. Like I said, this is my first one. But here's a close-up here of the powders. They do look pretty, don't they? So I'll do some swatches now. Let's see how they swatch here under studio lights. So this is that first satin, which is a very soft formula. Can you see how that just doesn't look nice when it swatches? This is one of them that just, no matter how much I try to make this look nice in a video, I just don't think it looks very good when it swatches. And this is the sort of topper shade. Again, it's hard to get this to show up in a video. But you can see it's definitely a topper shade. I don't know if it would work very well on its own. I think, like if I show it over this, for instance, how it will change the effect of that powder. So you could have this all over the eye, for instance, and then you can change it completely by putting that topper on. Just to give you an idea of what that one looks like. This is the shimmer that I was most excited about, and this does swatch well. This was the only one I thought did swatch well. Sorry, I'm putting this right across my knuckles here, so it looks very odd, but anyway. You can see that is a really nice shimmer. Quite subtle though, it's not over the top, like Pat McGrath style shimmer. I say Pat, old Pat, it's not old Pat. And this is the matte, the deepest shade. And again, this didn't swatch very well. I mean, I know I'm not being very careful in the way I'm doing this, but can you see what I mean about, this one looks a bit muddy as well. So I think it looks okay as a colour story, but just the way they swatch isn't as good. So at the moment I'm very much on the fence, if I'm honest. And there's also a huge mess on my desk from swatching, so I think I'll have to be quite careful with these. I'm going to start with this one, which is the satin. Can you see how as soon as I touch it in the pan, it's just sort of crumbling up? So it's quite a messy one, this satin. So I'm tapping off a lot here. This is my Refa 27 brush. So this isn't very pigmented. That is a nice shade actually, I do like that. It's going on very well. It's looking a lot better on my eye than it did on my hands, so that's exactly why I didn't put the swatch video out, because I think people would have seen it and thought this palette's terrible based off the swatches, and it would have been unfair for me to have uploaded it, because you can't really tell until you really try them on. But that is much nicer on the eye than it was on my hand. So I haven't covered the whole of the lid. I've gone into the whole of the crease and I've taken it into the outer V, and I'm just going to slightly move it out there. When I said this isn't very pigmented, just going in a second time, it is quite pigmented. So don't just swirl around and think that you won't get an intense payoff. because certainly on fair skin like mine, you do get quite an intense payoff with this. I'm going to run this underneath using my Refa number 3. And I'm going to use the Refa 15 Mini and go into this deeper shade here, being a bit careful not to pick up too much. And then I'm going to just build up a little bit here in the outer V. Again, this is going straight onto my eye so much better than it did onto my hand. So if you swatch these in store, you could be very put off this, but it's definitely working a million times better when I put it on the eye, so I'm really happy about that. Very workable, easy formula actually. I'm back in with the Refa 27 to just smooth out the edges of this. I haven't put anything on the brush this time. Now I'm going to go in with that purple shimmer. So to experiment with how effective this is, I'm going to use my artist pen from Pat McGrath on one eye and not on the other. So let's see if it needs that to really get a big effect or not. So I'm going to start with the eye I didn't put that on. So I'm using my finger. And, oh, that is lovely. So here's the side using the wand and here's the side without. Can you see any difference? I think I'll have to actually watch this video back because I can't see with my eyeballs closed, eyelids closed even. I think I'm going to go in with my liner pen to this deepest shade now to see if I can try and use it to line a little bit, even though it's not a colour that works particularly well for me as a liner. I think that is giving me a bit of a line there, enough for me to feel I don't need an eyeliner, which is what I really like from an eyeshadow palette. Let's see if I can get a little bit of a line here tight to the lash with it as well. I'm just going to take this purple shimmer now right into the inner corner, because the topper shade for me is just too light to do that. So I'm going to fill this area here. I don't like to do this bit with my finger because it tends to be a little bit clumsy and go outside of the area. I'll just use a very thin flat brush. This is the Zoeva 238, which I love for this purpose. So now for this sparkle, I'm going to try it first of all just in the very centre to give a pop of light in the centre to see if that's all I need. I like that in the centre actually. Maybe I will leave it there. It's a bit different for me to do that. Oh, I like that. It's just giving me that pop of light in the centre and sort of breaking it up a little bit. But I think this would also look nice if you swept it across. But I'm not going to because I like that. I am going to take my 207 from BK Beauty and put some of the sparkle in the inner corner. So not taking it onto the lid at all, just the inner corner for that little pop of light. It works well there. Also going to take this underneath the brow. Oh, I like it under the brow. I really like that under the brow actually. This palette so far has completely exceeded expectations. I went into it with relatively low expectations, swatched it and had very low expectations. I just need a colour story that really grabs me. This colour story is not my complete favourite. I think I need green, if it had a green with a purple, or orange and green, they're the sort of things I love playing with. But anyway, I'm actually really pleased with that, and I think that's sort of, look at the sparkle, look at that. It's giving it more of a party vibe, hasn't it? So you could take this day to night, I think. You could go without the sparkle, and then in the evening you could put the sparkle all over and then you're party ready, so you could be work to party. So I do like that. I'm actually very impressed. The only complaint for me would be I just need a colour story that grabs me a bit more, but the formula and the way that this is applied, 10 times better than I thought it was going to be. I mean, I've paid a lot less than 73 and loved a palette, so I do think they're massively, massively overpriced. But what this has shown me is that if a colour story comes out that I like, I think I will probably try it again. So I'm now not saying I will ignore Tom Ford releases. I don't ignore his releases generally, but his eyeshadow releases, I mean. So this might have converted me a little bit. What do you think? That is just, I love the sparkle on that. I do think this side is more sparkly though, and that's the side I use Pat McGrath. The Pat McGrath artist wand now, not her shadows. And I've gone off camera and put my mascara on, so this is how it is looking with the mascara. It really is very, very pretty. Just need a colour story for me, please, Tom. Because this formula, I know that there's been a lot of cream formulas from Tom, which I wouldn't honestly be that interested in. Sort of cream to powder is not something I love that much. But this formula, I'll definitely be buying in if the colour story suits. Are you picking this one up? Anyway, on to the Victoria Beckham. So I've only picked up one, if I can find it. Here it is. And I've only picked up one because we've had probably 1 million balms released this year, and I just really don't want any more. Plus there's only 4 shades I think in this one. So I picked up the Colette, it's called, and this is a sheer poppy red with a buildable shine. This is £30. It says it gives a nourishing lip shine. Clinically proven lip perfecting balm with nourishing and smoothing ingredients that lend 24-hour hydration, which I personally never find with any of these balms. 4 hours later, I do need to add lip balm, but anyway, in a sleek stick. This is a rich custom colour bloom with 3 shiny tinted shades. Oh, so there's 3 shades then. And it's got the pH adaptive technology in this one, allowing each sheer hue to bloom into your personalised wash of colour. So that could mean all 3 end at the same colour, which is what I found with the MAC pH ones. But anyway, there's just slightly different depth to them. So they weren't 3 different, well with MAC there was a lot more of them, but they weren't really different shades, even though they look like different shades. They were just different depth of whichever shade it changes to on your lips. That's how I viewed those anyway. So it says this is a plush melty formula. Each twist releases a precise dose of Posh Balm. So that's very different. So you twist up once to get exactly how much you need to use it for your application, with the softest texture achievable in a super slim bullet. Decadent hyper emollient formula. So this is lip care and promising no mirror needed, which I have been finding with these. So far I'd say Victoria Beckham wins on the packaging front for these lip balms. This is heavy, it feels very, very luxe. I love how slim it is. I just think it's beautiful. Different for Victoria Beckham. I'm trying to twist it, but it's pull. So I haven't even looked at this yet. So we are seeing this together for the very first time. So here is the poppy. So let's do 1 click. Let's see if you can hear it. Do you hear that? It's not actually coming up above the bullet though, so I think I'm going to keep clicking until I get there. So I'm there now, I think. I don't know if you can see that, just slightly peeking over the top. So presumably the next time I go in, I do 1 click. So let's see. And I haven't put any of my Delilah lip oil on today because I wanted to see how this was with nothing underneath. So that's my bottom lip with quite a few swipes across. I'm not going to add it to the top lip just yet, but what I can say straight away from this is it's not feeling anything like as hydrating as other formulas I've tried. It's very, very thick. So thick that maybe it doesn't feel like it's going to hydrate me as much, but let's not judge yet. And I do need to remember I'm not wearing my Delilah lip oil, which I usually wear every day. So now I am meeting these together. There's no tingly sensation with this. There's no scent. And as you can see, the poppy is definitely not translating as a poppy to my lips. It's just a more your lips but better pink. It's extremely thick. If you're somebody who doesn't like a lip balm you can really feel on your lips, or that transfers that easily, this is the thickest I've tried. I thought MAC was the best for that. I think MAC is actually the fine balance for me between being the sort of slimy ones that can slide out and being too thick. I think MAC is the perfect one I've tried out of all of them. This one is slightly almost too dry for me. I do like a bit more, but now that I'm mixing my lips together, my lips do feel very hydrated. So it's a funny one. I think we'll have to wait. You'll have to see my end of month review on this, because I like it, but I'm not sure if I love it. I think what I'll do, I've been using one of the MACs every day, and I use it as my top up for when my lipstick wears off. I do love these sorts of formulas for that, because you get the instant hydration plus a bit of colour without needing a mirror when you know your lipstick might have worn off. And if you've got a lip liner on, which I often have, you know that makes your lips look a bit odd. So it's nice to have something like this you can just quickly put on without looking in a mirror, and you've just got everything you need. So I'm going to swap out my MAC for this and use this one so I can report back on how I feel about the hydration. Because now it's warming up, it's almost like it's melting into the warmth of my lips more. It definitely feels more hydrating as I'm speaking, and I'm quite enjoying it now. So this might be very, very good because of the way it grips and the way it eventually hydrates. It's very strange. I'm finding it hard to explain, but I do like it, definitely like it. So I will report back on that one. And Victoria recommends using one of her glosses as a topper. So this one is Martini, so I thought I would try that. Much more hydrating immediately as soon as I put that gloss on. That's the sort of finish I prefer on my lips. That's how I prefer it to feel. And that looks really pretty actually. But it was literally just Your Lips But Better. So in my opinion, I could use my Delilah oil, which I use every day, which gives me that Your Lips But Better. Plus it gives me more hydration with a gloss, and I would probably end up with the same look. So I don't know about this one. But anyway, like I said, I will use this without the gloss during the day, every day for the next probably at least week, if not longer. And I'll let you know if I think it's as good as the ones from MAC. But at the moment, if you want a pH lip balm that gives you a little bit of colour and lots of hydration, easy to apply without a mirror, my top one's recommendation would be the MAC Go Play. But we'll see on this one. Anyway, that's everything for today. I thought I would just very quickly, if I get a tissue, if I can get it out of my box, do a transfer check on this foundation. I'm going to do it by here, where there's no powder. It's definitely transferring a bit. You can see there's a little bit come on the tissue. Can you see that? So if I do it this side, it's slightly sticking. Some of the best ways to tell with transfer is when you put the tissue on and it just immediately falls off. It is falling off. It's not sticking to my face. So there's a tiny bit of transfer. It did dry down very well on the back of my hand though, so maybe that's because of the amount of moisturiser I've got on underneath. But I will definitely be giving you a review at the end of the month on this foundation with the lighter shade, because I really am super impressed with the way that worked. I love it. So, and I will pop that comment, like I said, at the top of the comment section to update you on the wear of this tonight. But the eyeshadow, every time I look at it, I do love that pop of sparkle in the middle, you know, I really love it. It's weird, I thought the sparkle looked a little bit boring when I swatched it. That is not boring, is it? Anyway, so Tom Ford, am I converted? Well, maybe. I'm not going to say I'm going to buy every eyeshadow palette he releases, not by a long shot, but I am definitely reconsidering my future purchases and trying more. I'd love to know what you think about this eyeshadow look and the foundation I've tried and the Victoria Beckham lip. Have you picked any of these up, or will you be picking them up? I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Tom Ford is worth that extra price, the 73? It is a lot for an eyeshadow quad, it really is, isn't it? But I've got to admit, I do feel quite special in it. Anyway, This has been a bit of a roller coaster, as these things often can be, and has not turned out anything like I expected it to, but I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. I love doing things like this. They really bring me joy. And I really do hope that if you're not subscribed, that you do subscribe. It really does help me ever so much, and I'd love to see you for my next video. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so very, very, very much. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope to see all of you for my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.